I'm Ritika, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all to our LinkedIn Live session on 2020X Vision AI Fueled Sales Intelligent or Intelligent Sales. During today's session, we will deep dive into the dynamics of intelligent sales and the pivotal role of AI plays in improving sales professionals. So, before we start our session, I request all the participants to please mention their name and their location in the comment section. We're also going to have a Q&A at the end of the session, and I encourage active participation from all the participants. Also, all our past session videos are uploaded on our YouTube channel. Just in case you have missed watching it or you want to rewatch it, you can visit our YouTube channel. I'll share a link shortly in the comment section with you all. So we have six series on the 2020X Vision with AI. We have past six sessions on it. All these sessions are available on our YouTube channel. So as I said before, I'll share the link and you can watch all these videos on the YouTube channel. So our topic for today's session is 2020X Vision, AI Fuel Sales Intelligence or Intelligent Sales, as I mentioned before. So let's get started without wasting any time because we have an incredible line of speakers for today's session who will share their expertise and insights on this evolving topic. Over to you, Ishendra.
Thank you, Ritika. Thank you so much. And as Ritika shared, we have been running 2020X Vision with AI since last 6 months. And, we have got a very positive response from all the participants who have been there. We have shared a lot of great insights with the speakers who have been joining us from US, from India, from different industries. And today, again, we have a great lineup of speakers. And especially the topic is very interesting, wherein we are going to actually have a deliberation on AI fueled sales intelligence or intelligent sales. So let me invite our esteemed guest speakers we have today. Dennis Roman is the founder and CEO of Roman's Number. We have Dean Noli. He's the outsourced VP of Sales and Advisor, Sales Acceleration. And we have Sandeep, who is the Director of IATA Commerce. So let me invite our esteemed speakers to introduce themselves before we begin our session.
Vish and Ritika, thank you very much for getting us started today. Dennis Roman here, calling in from Boca Raton, Florida, waiting for hurricane season to start down here, which is coming up in June. Over to you, Dean.
Hey, good morning, Dean Nolly, Atlanta, Georgia. Last time I had the pleasure to be sitting in Augusta, Georgia, but a little different venue today. So look forward to sharing some AI tools and talking about growing sales.
Okay, Sandeep.
Sandeep?
You're muted, Sandeep.
Sorry. Thanks, Dennis. This is Sandeep dialing in from NCR, National Capital Region in India, and look forward to an interactive session and sharing my experience how AI can fill your pipeline and your deal flow rate. Yeah. Over to you, Vishwendra.
Thank you so much, Sandeep and Dennis and Dean. We are facing some technical issues in terms of broadcasting it to LinkedIn, but I think it should start soon. But in the meantime, let me give a little bit of context in terms of what is that we are going to cover today. So as you know, we stand at the we actually stand at the in an era where there's a lot of transformation that's happening in the sales VM, and at the same time on the technology as well. We hear about ChatGPT 4.0 that's coming about, that's being launched. We also speak about Gemini 1.5 that's been launched. So there's a lot of incredible advancements that's taking place in artificial intelligence. However, we are going to keep our discussion today only from the sales domain perspective. And what we have as our session is Dennis is going to talk about the intelligent sales dynamic. Dean would be covering augmenting the art of selling, how AI empowers sales professionals, and here you're going to also hear about certain tools which Dean is using, especially in his sales life cycle. Then we have Sandeep, who will be talking about finding and closing deals with AI powered sales. And in the end, we are going to have a sales value chain with AI tools. We are going to look at what are the various tools that are currently being practiced. What are those touch points, or what are those stages in the sales life cycle which can be actually impacted or automated with the help of AI. So let me move to the next slide. Let me set the context in terms of why sales. You're all familiar that sales function, especially in B2B enterprise, is a critical driver of revenue and growth for any business, particularly in technology or in B2B scenarios. And the traditional approach to sales is fraught with inefficiencies and untapped potential, presenting a golden opportunity for the transformative power of AI to revolutionize the landscape. So while AI offers the promise of streamlining processes, optimizing workflows, and ultimately driving success in the sales team, it is also providing a significant competitive advantage to the users, especially sales users, who are using this to improve their performance in their sales lifecycle. So let's look at some of the statistics that highlights the urgency for this sales transformation. Sales are typically the costliest function within a B2B enterprise. Whether in terms of the resources that are required to maintain a sales team, including salaries, training, travel, and other overhead expenses that can quickly add up, making sales one of the most expensive departments in any of the B2B enterprises. For example, one of the the average outside sales call costs somewhere around $308. That shares the that one call itself is very costly. Moreover, the time and effort invested in various sales activities such as prospecting, lead generation, follow-ups, and administrative tasks further contribute to the high costs associated with sales efforts. However, the true gravity of the situation lies in the fact that a staggering 90% of B2B sales efforts aimed at converting leads into customers ultimately end in failure. This sobering statistic underscores the vast potential for improvement and the need for innovative solutions. If you look at another statistics that actually add to the challenge, that the sales team only dedicate a mere 35% of their time to actual selling activities, which is as reported by a sales line. However, sales representatives, they themselves believe that 82% of their effort should actually go in building relationship with their customers, because that helps in enhancing the conversion rates. If you look at the admin work, almost 70% as per Ringover is consumed by administrative tasks such as data entry, logging, sales activities in CRMs, follow-ups, generating sales reports. These are tasks that could be streamlined and optimized through automation. Now, if you look at the behavior, especially in the sales domain, the balancing when we kind of look at in the framework of the action priority matrix, balancing the effort with the impact is critical for salespeople. However, the largely the most of the time the sales behavior that drive what they normally pursue is the approach for quick wins, wherein low effort but high impact. but the impact is rarely high. And unless a salesperson is born with a silver spoon, they are not able to make quick wins. And when we have such approach, it's difficult to identify which tasks could be filler tasks and when high efforts can become hard slots. So while they can put a lot of effort, but unless they are clear in terms of how to balance the effort with impact, that's actually going to mismatch. So here, what comes into play is the skill that actually determine your efforts impact. And if you have high expertise, obviously you would be able to get high impact. And if the skills are low, then the impact is again going to be low. So skills alone cannot help. We actually need sales intelligence. There's a lot of data which is needed by sales, especially in terms of decision making and strategy formulation. So that's where the sales intelligence comes into play. And then there's a lot of automation or optimizing of processes and workflows that is needed across the entire sales life cycle. So with that, optimization, they can actually focus on what matters the most, which is finding and closing deals. And now, with the advent of AI, enhancing these sales skills uh, can be achievable for most of the sales team or sales members. So if, I'm actually using green fuel here, fueled by AI, but making effective sales strategies can open doors to new markets, forge a strong customer relationship, and ultimately drive profitability and market dominance. So unlocking this potential requires a transformative approach that addresses the inefficiencies and maximize the productivity of sales team. So this is where the power of artificial intelligence comes into play, offering a game-changing solution to streamline processes, optimize workflows, and enhance the overall effectiveness of sales operations. So, with while I've set the context, I hope it's clear that we there are two domains that we are going to talk today: sales intelligence and intelligent sales, and we are going to hear from our speakers which area they are going to focus more if they are given AI tools. So let me begin with Dennis. Uh, Dennis is the founder of Roman Samba, and he is the former CMO at TCS, Oracle, and HP. And he is going to talk about the intelligent sales dynamic. Dennis, over to you.
Okay, Vish, thank you. Boy, I learned a lot just from that short piece that you did, and thank you for that. I love those slides. I'm going to steal some of them from you. So welcome, everyone. This will go quick from my side. My business is doing sales enablement and marketing messaging. I put those two together as friends, enabling the sales team and helping marketing back them up by creating the right messages that the marketplace it would be more sympathetic to hear. And I do use AI continuously in my analysis, my financial analysis about going to market. So I try to use images as much as I can. Like you just saw from Vish, my slides are always very text light. They're easy to absorb and really hopefully easy to remember. This is a seesaw. We've all played on a seesaw. We've all had the thrill of going up and down. It's a simple, classic tool or toy or lever or fulcrum or whatever the word we want to use for it. Archimedes said, give me a place to stand and a lever long enough and I will move the world. So that couldn't be a more powerful metaphor, I think. If the lever was long enough, I could actually pick up the earth. Well, all well and good. I've lost a little bit there. So I'm just going to keep going. So this is one kind of a tool, but it's not the kind of tool that I'm talking about. Rather, I'm talking about this kind of tool, a bellows or a blower or a fan or an air pump or a squeeze box, or as I have been referred to on any number of occasions as a windbag. Okay, so we're blowing air onto the fire, and The actuality, we don't blow air on the fire to make the fire bigger. We're blowing air onto the embers and the wood or whatever where the fire is. If you just blow air on a fire, it'll go out. So I'm using the metaphor of a black box. ChatGPT is one of dozens that could be in that box right there. And why I've taken this approach is, unlike the seesaw, where only one is winning and the other is losing, or one is going up as the other is going down. That's not true with the bellows. The more air you blow on the fire, the more the outcome is going to be, the greater the outcome. So I've said, according to Shakespeare, is it intelligent sales or sales intelligence? That is the question. And with this metaphor, if I can continue it briefly, with the seesaw, it's an or situation. You're either going to get this or you're going to get this, but you can't have them both. You cannot have them both at the same time. However, with the bellows, it's an and situation. The more juice that the intelligent salesperson has, the more outcome they're going to get on the intelligent sales side as well. Okay, I'm almost finished actually. So what might I capture as an intelligent salesperson? We're working on one half of the equation, right? How do I build up the win bag? Well, you could be capturing the annual report or the management report to shareholders or the income statements or the balance sheets or the cash flow statements, the 10K filings with the SEC, the equity. So if you're pursuing, in this case, public companies anywhere in the world, some of these things are idiosyncratic to the United States, but you get the idea. The more intelligent the salesperson is. So you can't just ask GPT, well, you can just simply ask GPT, how is Apple doing right now? Okay, you could do that. Or if you know enough, if you're an intelligent salesperson, you might feed the annual report or the balance sheet or the cash flow statement to your tool and ask, how is Apple doing right now? I hope you get that. So how do intelligent sales get to be more intelligent? How do I know about these things? And that's part of the exercise of using AI. Let me go to the other side. Now that I have a smart, intelligent sales force, knowing the pieces that would be most beneficial to feed to the tool. If you're in manufacturing, it could be blueprints, right? If you're in operations, it could be the workflow, whatever. In my case, it's the financial analysis, balance sheet, cash flow. Okay, so what can you expect out of the inputs that I just suggested that the intelligent salesperson would use? And the AI tools would start telling you which countries might make the most sense for you to go after, which sectors of the stock market, financial services, which segments of the stock market, banking, which companies in the stock market. Should you go after State Street or Bank of America? Which lines of business? Should you go after mortgage or should you go after supply chain? Which job descriptions, which arguments to make, and which messages to craft. All of those would be sales intelligent outcomes that you would be able to deliver into the market. So it's a seesaw. And as I'm ending, what or where is the sales target? We've all seen that Venn diagram with the 3 overlay. I've always found that off-putting as a classic Venn diagram. It makes it easy to make a slide, but it's very inappropriate to think that what customers want is a nice, clean circle, and that what you do well as a vendor is a nice, clean circle that looks like what customers want, and what competitors do looks like a nice. That doesn't make any sense. Your competitors look like, I don't know what the name of that is, but it could be a rhomboid or a trapezoid or whatever, right? I don't know what the name of this other character is over here, but what you do well looks very different from what the competitors do well, with an overlap. And what the customers want is just an ever-growing set of demands. And what you want to be going after is this piece here. I know that should be self-evident, but I wanted to bring it to the fore because it'll introduce my next slide, my last slide, I think. You don't want to be going where the X is. You and the other guy are really good at the same thing. The ideal is you're trying to find out where you're really good, and the competitors may not own that space, or fewer vendors are your competitor in that particular space. Okay, and then I teach an entire class on this alone. So let's just take these two examples. Companies that are prospering, I mean financially prospering, and companies that are struggling. If you're able to divide the marketplace into those two things, which is very easy to do with AI and using those inputs I already told you about, you would immediately have two lists of customers on your desk. And I start to matrix here. What kind of people should go after companies that are prospering, as opposed to which kind of people should go after companies that are struggling? They're really different kinds of people. And these things start laying that out. So if you can actually build that fork in the road, these companies are healthy financially, these are maybe really having problems. This begins to lay out how you might be able to approach them. All of this can come from enhanced AI work. And that's to the end of my slides. Accounting is the language of business. We all love Warren Buffett. I hope you enjoyed those metaphors and examples. Back to you, Vish. Vish, we can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you so much, Janice, for your insightful presentation. It was indeed a great insight in terms of how the intelligent sales dynamic is going to be unfold. Now, I have a couple of questions, but I'm going to invite Dean for his slide deck. In fact, we have got a comment, well said, Dennis, Roman, customers don't want a perfect circle. So it seems, yeah, that's a good comment, which is coming up now. Dean, I'm going to add your slides here. But before Dean starts, let me also say that, Dean, this is the second time and Dean has joined us for this session. So thank you, Dean, for taking your time out. And Dean has 30 plus years of experience spanning startups, small firms, and Fortune 500 companies. And he has guided disruptive Silicon Valley ventures, built and sold his own company, and led high growth VC-backed software firms. Dean, over to you on the augmenting the art of selling, how AI empowers sales professionals.
All right. Hey, good morning. Most importantly, with me dialing in from Atlanta, Georgia, we got to do a Go Dogs, home of the Georgia Bulldogs. So very proud of that. Hopefully my Georgia Tech friends aren't too frustrated with me. But we're going to have some fun today. I simply help SMBs grow sales today, help them build a sustainable model long term. The name of the company is Sales Growth Imagination. I'm blessed to be powered by Sales Acceleration as an advisor for outsourced sales. Also very blessed to be a principal of the best AI software development company in the state of Georgia in Blackstone and Cullen. I think this slide right here, says it all. I think everyone has seen in the past the bear side, but in the AI world, this is real. And I can tell you, I'm not a very fast runner, so I would be trying to trip you. I can assure you your competitors will be. Most importantly, in the AI on the sales side, you don't want to be this guy. What I'm consistently watching are folks avoiding AI in their companies, within their sales leadership, within their sales professionals. So as we go through the day, we're going to talk through some of the customization, a few sales tools at a high level, but we're going to get focused on a sales playbook that I think is really transforming into the SMB. And most importantly, we'll talk to the affordability, a lot of the tools that were only available in corporate America in the past. From a Blackstone and Cullen perspective, I think the key here is we're already doing the work. There's 18 custom solutions that have already been brought to market specific to sales. So what you're looking at here is the Gartner quadrant. So you're looking at external customer facing, you're looking at the internal operations, the everyday AI, and some of the game changing. I think everyone is seeing these tools, but ultimately it's how do you better find clients, how do you better engage clients, and how do you take that pipeline to increase the sales. When you take a look, you're going to see a lot of development around front office, on the back office side. Again, Blackstone goes across every spectrum, every industry, but just in the sales and marketing perspective, again, there's 18 use cases already brought to bear. I think a lot of people know Blackstone for what they've done with companies like Siemens, Amazon, and other global 100s. But at the same time, I personally have an owner in Atlanta, $15 million company where there was a dashboard and a custom solution to help that customer from time of order to time of sign off and delivery. I think this one says it best. And obviously for those of you that know me, you know that I'm probably holding a beer. I'm definitely not at 9:27 in the morning. When you look at this next slide, I think you're going to want a beer. This is the information from you, the SMB owners. We've had it's now over 5,000 clients, but this is the feedback that owners have told us where they're struggling. Because I think the common theme is sales are stagnant or they're even going to reverse. Most companies are struggling to grow. When you see numbers like 86% of SMB owners and CEOs are saying with sales strategy, 80% challenges, and you start looking at same with methodology, analytics, you start seeing where folks don't have a CRM, they don't know how to use it effectively. There's not a sales process. There's not a pipeline. Territories aren't in place. Compensation plans, quotas. There's a lot of things broke. But the good news here, there's a lot of ways to be creative to go after your business in your respective businesses. In terms of some of the tools, and for those of you that tuned in on the last session or some of my other podcasts, you see me go into more depth on all of these tools. Most importantly, these are now affordable today for SMBs. But if you look at Josh Feedy at the top and you look at Sales Reach, that is an entire digital asset library that enables sales professionals to touch customers very effectively with both the tools, with the communication with AI scripting, as well as with short or customized video snippets. And again, this is one of the coolest tools that I know I personally deal with. Pitch 59, when you look at Pitch 59 and you look at the tool, I was just looking this morning, I've had 148 shares between referral partners to other referral partners and or to clients in the last 45 days. And what's beautiful about this, AI is driving not just the scripting of your elevator pitch and what is written and verbal, it is also scripting and helping matchmaking the potential opportunities with clients or other people where there's synergy. KnowledgeNet, that is something we talked more in depth in the past. This is one of the largest AI tools. It simply helps companies find customers, helps companies better engage and map out relationships to the company. You have relationship intelligence, AI-generated connection pathways, the personality intelligence, and natural language processing. Again, a great tool to help you get your customers. But today, we're going to focus mainly on the sales playbook. When you get to the custom sales playbook, this is a tool that is something I really enjoy. I'm watching it with customers. This is one of the best AI-driven tools. I personally have seen a playbook in a prior company that we paid $1.3 million for. In today's world with custom playbooks, you can build a strategic visionary playbook starting at approximately 15,000, depending on, all the parameters of how you want to build this out. But here's the kicker with the AI. I mean, when you start looking in, you either have an option, innovator, stay status quo, left behind. When you start looking at the innovators, they're including the AI language. They're becoming experts with ChatGPT, and they're including AI in all their respective workflows. Specific to ChatGPT and the Sales Advantage with Playbook Sales Builder, the key here, most folks, when they look at this, they go, it's about the prompt to get the output. The reality is it's more around the education and the framework that gets you to those prompts to ensure that you have the effective output. When you get into some examples um, of a basic, a good question is, what is the average sales cycle length in the technology sector? What you'll see on the next upcoming slide is if you took that to advanced prompting, how can a sales leader in technology sector shorten the average sales cycle length by integrating AI tools? So again, when you look at basic prompting versus advanced, what you're getting into is the education, and what you're taking to the next work piece is the framework. When you get into the sales playbook, what you're going to see here is you have think of a playbook as a table of contents, and within that you have sales methodology, sales strategy, sales analytics, and around the organization of the people. So every table of content has been built with framework, with the process, so that once that data is collected through the process, you're going to be able to then build out your customized playbook. A lot of customers, and this is a live example, some of the customers are going, wow, a 5-6 day process over the period of 5-6 months based on availability of both resources, like myself and or more importantly, the executive team or sales teams within companies. What are ways that I can still customize and maybe streamline? This is an example where we had a client that actually took the time, did a whiteboard sessions, the data was collected, and because of the education, the framework, this was able to accelerate a process to have that visionary strategic playbook in about half the time it would have to go through a more lengthy framework process. Ultimately, what you're getting to is with you're getting into the different services. And, while I enjoy the sales playbook and that whole framework, in that case, akin to like what EOS does for the business, we're doing in sales, but that's assuming everything's working. Normally, when I'm called in, things aren't working. I mean, there's issues with the infrastructure, the CRM, not using the CRM, spreadsheet managing. There's issues with skill sets, with the people, not well defined for the products that you're selling. There's not training in place for the people. So ultimately, you got to fix before you can really go to a strategic framework and work with the playbook. You've got to fix that infrastructure, and then depending on the scenario, you may need help with managing to assure that sales team is then predictable and repeatable, so that you have a sustainable model. You get that leader in place, and at that point, that leads into the strategic framework and the playbook. Again, when you look at these tools, and I appreciate Dennis driving this one home. When I say these tools are affordable for an SMB, if you look at what Sales Reach does, that would have been a several $1 million investment in the past, and you would need to have had hundreds of people to use this. This is a $99 a user subscription on a monthly basis. Very affordable, very effective, a huge way to differentiate how your sales representatives touch clients. When you get to the pitch 59, anyone that knows me knows I live by this. I communicate this. I can see every person that has shared my pitch card via text, via LinkedIn, Twitter, email. I can see who has opened it. And at the same time, in terms of the effectiveness, it makes it easy for people to refer your salespeople to potential clients. Likewise, with the Pitch 59, $15 a month subscription. in the past, if you were to get this technology, and I was with one company that had a similar technology, it was over $1 million investment. And again, you needed several hundred people to leverage that to be able to make it affordable. Today, $15 per subscription per sales rep. And with KnowledgeNet is a tool that's on steroids, like what Zoom Info and what both Sales LinkedIn Navigator has been, with the relationship mapping that leverages LinkedIn and also all of the email traffic that's been shared with the content. Again, $30 a month plus usage, a significant reduced rate, but this is a tool that just really customizes the entire search engine with the power of 16 different sequences of AI embedded into the product. And as we move forward, there will be another sales playbook builder with the founder, Drew Williams, mark your calendars on June 13th. I will also be going into depth with Ben Vicarica, the Senior Vice President of KnowledgeNet AI, on June 12th. This is a tool that I'm using as I build up my business, as well as helping other seminars and other customers, be able to find, engage, and secure customers. So again, you'll see these tools in for future sessions. So with that, Vish, I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you so much. There are a couple of questions which are there, but let me invite Sandeep first before we delve into questions. Sandeep is going to be talking on finding and closing deals with AI-powered sales. Sandeep has 26 plus years of experience in accelerating revenue growth and delivering digital transformation solutions, specializing in B2B sales and consulting. He excels in driving growth through strategic customer experience management, information experience, and OPEX solutions across SaaS, cloud, and on-premise models. Sandeep, over to you.
Thanks, Vishudra. I hope my slide is visible, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So what I did, always being the last speaker, you have some advantage and some disadvantage. What I've done is that I've kept it pretty simple. What I have been using personally, what I'm observing and changing in the industry in the two areas. One is how AI helps in the pipeline growth or AI fuel pipeline, and also how can you use AI to increase your deal closure rate, right? So when it comes to particularly to fuel your pipeline with AI, to grow your pipeline continuously, let's say 5x to 7x, depending on the nature of business, right? I usually use this particular chronology called Mind, because AI, I always felt and I've seen and I've experienced that it's machine assisted and human cognitive, and that's why your mind and AI should be playing, and act tandem to give you the desired results. So when it comes to the mindset, that's very important, because you need to set some achievable goals for your sales team, because no matter how we just learned about some great tools, we learned about methodologies, but it's at the end of the day, it's your people who are going to deliver, right? It's your sales team that's going to deliver. And that's why it's very important to set that mindset, that progressive mindset, to use AI tools, to be ready with experiments and etc. And that's why you should use AI to analyze the past goals where your business or your sales team might have faced challenges. And then, of course, we just learned from doing that about the sales playbook, right? So those kind of contents you should put it forward and share it with your sales team, right? Next thing which is required if you want really looking towards AI to fuel your pipeline is an interactive campaign. And there, to be honest, I have always found there are 5 parts to it. You have the strategy, where you should use AI to see what exactly campaign, what kind of campaign is going to work in your industry. I'm particularly talking about an outreach, right, or an ABM kind of a scenario. You can use today, there are great AI tools to help you in that, to understand what kind of campaigns. Then the next is the target, right? Very, very important. What kind of ICPs ideal customer profiles you are going to target, and what kind of buyer personas you need to build. And before that, even, of course, you can use AI to segment, what Dennis has mentioned, segment your market and your target segment within your market, within your industry, right? And then comes the offer, what we are going to offer. So, I have, and this is very close to my heart. I have seen, if you are narrating a good offer which is kind of tending to solve a business challenge which is very close to the business user or the technical user heart in the particular industry, there is a high chance of conversion, or high chance of communication, trade being starting, right? Otherwise, most of the outbounds, people just don't bother to read them. So that's where you can again use AI to research your prospects industries, what kind of common pain points are there, and etc. And you can also gather some CRM data around it. The next one is extremely important, which is outreach, right? AI can tell you that, look, this is a company historically, or a new company coming up, which, the CXOs of this company like what kind of channel for the outreach. Do they like email, or do they like the social networking? Sometimes I have felt, even in India also, people finding it a little bit difficult, to answer your direct calls. Sometimes they take it in the other sense, right? So it's always better to start with a LinkedIn messaging, for an example, follow up with couple of messaging, and then probably a call, right? And the last one is the conversion that we all know. So these are the 5 important aspects of a campaign. And when after you have made the campaign, you have reached out to your target audience, you need to nurture value continuously with them, right? So you should be able to use AI to research, again, the audience or your prospects, and then you get content based nurturing. Today is a time where people love content, right? There's a lot of content being getting generated. So stuff like white papers or case studies relevant to that particular prospect in that particular industry, or industry reports on how your business, your solution, can solve a particular business challenge, right? That's where it becomes very important. And last comes the deliver part. Now, please remember, here again, you like your mind, setting the mindset. Your sales team is extremely important for your organization, because they are going to deliver. So just not focus on execution, but move it to the one level up to deliver. And what I mean is that, please follow the industry standard or the world standard productivity theme, where it says you need to minimize. The productivity theme gets divided into 4 quadrants of time set. So you have to minimize the mandatory time, and you have to maximize the investment time. Mandatory time, what Dennis was mentioning, is actually the mandatory time at 33%, 37% sales team are actually only putting that effort, 37% effort, in talking to the prospects or the customers to nurture the relationship. And it's being taken away by the mandatory time activities, CRM data, writing similar kind of emails, and etc. And whereas the investment time is something which you need to give back to your team members to actually innovate and see where they can add those nurturing value or add to the attractive campaigns. And so you can use AI to conduct research, to have for example, persuasive writing, creating sequence and follow-up templates, objections. To practice the objections is a very important aspect of delivering. Many of the times objections comes, how do you handle them? Calling scripts, if the same kind of calling, you have a mix of senior sales team members and let's say mid-level, you can always use the calling scripts to kind of coach the mid-level or the junior sales team members. And you can also do summarized meetings, right? So these are the areas where I have found very instrumental using AI, which can help you to grow your pipeline, right? Now, moving on to the closure rate. Now, these are a couple of areas. There are many, but I thought of limiting to the most interesting and important ones. So to start with, sales forecasting is extremely important, as we all know, right? That gives you that how much pipeline you should generate, what is your deal closure at current, right? And also gives you kind of a base where you can start using the data, using AI around your data sets, right? So stuff like data processing, talking to the internal chatbots and getting some ideas. Lead scoring, extremely important. AI is playing a very important role. We are using in organization HubSpot, for an example. HubSpot does that extremely well. Scoring your leads, as well as different types, 3 types of analytics. We all know about it: diagnostic, predictive, and as well as prescriptive. I don't want you to bore with the definitions, but those where AI can help you in sales forecasting, which you can kind of contribute to a higher deal closure rate. Next is the sales call analysis, right? Look, no day in a sales is same, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. So no day in a sales is same. Even you are talking the same salesperson, talking to the same CXO, the same customer or prospect, the tone, the sentiment, the mood can change, because we are all human beings, right? You remember I said human cognitive, machine assisted. So you can definitely use AI to kind of identify those objections or opportunities at where the sentiment was high or where the mood was low, or your prospect was not taking interest, right? So you can do a sales funnel analysis. Next action recommendation is extremely important, because in today's world we know that how busy and what kind of higher sales quotas have been given to every salesperson. So AI can actually help you to have the right activity in the right sequence to the right client audience and at the right timing, right? That becomes extremely important. Data says approximately, if I take your data, Vishwendra, that 90% failure, then 10%, 60% of the 10%, proves to be extremely good in a shorter life cycle, if we can know exactly what action to be taken and at what point of time and which stakeholder. Of course, then Gen AI need not to be mentioned at all. Writing sales emails, communications, messaging, right? We saw our earlier speakers talking on that. Predict and prioritize leads and identify new in-market leads. That are extremely important, because look, many times, particularly for both for an existing and old company or a legacy company, as well as a new solution, it is extremely important to understand what are your new in market leads, right? So AI can actually study your lead pattern, analyze your lead database, and give you some senses, some alerts that these are the leads, probably they are more likely to listen to your or understand your solution or buy your solution. Similarly, you can use AI to predict and prioritize leads who are ready to buy. Next two are very important, which I myself have used in my life, is always analyze and monitor your competitors. There are AI tools which you can utilize to understand what your competitors are doing, what kind of pricing strategy they're adapting, what kind of market they are focusing, and etc., and where they are winning and where they're losing, right? Because they are your competitors. So that's where you can analyze, you monitor your competitors, so that you stay agile, you stay competitive, and you have a potential growth, plus persistent growth or consistent growth. And finally, the key golden word is contract in closing deals, right? So terms and conditions, price point optimization, personalization as per your customer, right? Whether he needs a 2 years, it's better to give a 1 year deal and then sum up by or top up by 2 years deal, or you want to go with a 3 years deal in the very beginning, as well as cases of increasing compliances, reducing manual errors, which happens. That's where AI can help you a lot. So these are kind of areas where I have observed that AI could be utilized to increase your deal closure rate. I'm sure given a time we can discuss a lot on this. So over to you, Vishwendra. Those are my 2 slides.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. It was wonderful session. You have actually touched upon a lot of areas which are very critical, especially in the sales cycle, and whatever stages that you talked about, that actually adds hold up to what Gen AI is currently all about. In fact, there are a lot of salespeople, sales representatives. They are using AI only for content automation, but there's a lot which can be done. If you can, they can figure out what more which can be done through Gen AI, and you have very well covered all that in your slide.
Thanks.
So
Thanks,
let's take some of the questions. I understand Rishketu has shared a couple of questions here, and one question for Dennis. I think Dennis, you have already answered that, but you would like to comment. He's asking about.
I got the question, Vish. I got the question. He's asking, God bless him. He's going to be rich if he keeps asking these kinds of questions and he can get answers to them. He's asking, is there a way for a tool to look at the macro and micro worlds to figure out where the opportunities are? That's a big ask. The short answer is it depends. Certainly using financial analysis, and I stress that as, you know how they say music is the C flat. Is there a C flat? No, C flat is the same in Germany as it is in Japan. Same true with financial analysis. In my world, financial analysis, generally accepted accounting principles, are universally accepted all over the world. And that's why on my slide, I talked about countries, segments, sectors, companies. It's a waterfall effect. So the short answer is that is one frame of reference, financial analysis, that can be used to help guide sales into the correct avenues. Which country, which segment of the market, financial services, which sector would be financial, which segment would be banking, etc. So using financial analysis, that is a way to combine both macro and micro analysis to help the sales force.
Right. Yeah. So I hope, Brishnetu, you might have got your answer. The other question is for Dean. Thanks for pointing this perfect slide, sales playbook and AI, rightly pointed out, but it's not for SMBs today. So Dean, I understand you did emphasize that sales playbook builder is primarily for SMBs, but you have anything more to share? The other question which he has, in continuation, isn't it imperative that we also look at marketing source leads to generate a bigger funnel and then look for playbooks?
Yeah, I think the key with the playbook, you need to have all of your infrastructure set up correctly, both marketing, sales. That is critical to be in place. At that point, you can build, because the playbook is more of a long-term visionary strategic playbook. So with the framework, so it's critical to have things working, but the playbook is absolutely affordable for SMB. I mean, that's where this is built for. The reference point I'd made earlier was a different company came in with the playbook for a large Fortune 500 that was at 1.3 million. Today, the playbooks are down between 15,000 up, depending on the engagement and the time that you want to invest. But it is absolutely, customized and built for and priced for SMB.
Right. Okay. Okay. And the other aspect about marketing source leads, I think one point which I would like to add is, of course, when you are building a sales playbook, you're also looking at your funnel, and you're also looking at what are the customer segments that you're going to include as part of your sales playbook. How you're going to target them. You can also segment these sales, leads in terms of low touch accounts, high touch accounts, depending on the lead scoring that you can get. But yeah, it's a bigger funnel is always a part of sales playbook when you kind of look at what are the areas that you're going to focus in the coming period. We have a question from Charu. Charu, the point predicting leads is quite interesting. Would love to know which AI tool can be used and how.
Yep, I'll take that, Vishwendra, for Charu.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So, look, basically, we, in the market, there are tools like Salesforce, Einstein. You have the, predictive lead scoring from HubSpot. And there is also a tool from Market to exactly name. I'm just forgetting that particular name, right? When one of the reason Adobe acquired Marketo was that particular, feature. But what it's important to understand is that predicting leads is a very crucial game in managing the leads and fueling your pipeline in the shortest possible time. It's one of the crucial activity. So what you need to do is you need to utilize machine learning or deep learning, right, cognitive sense and etc. On a proper way on the data sets. Now the data sets can be your internal data sets as well as can be industry data sets if you have right tools and let's say right subscription to this a third party database of leads, right? So you utilize those the machine learning algorithms on those data sets from time to time, and also let's not forget it's not a one time job, it's a continuous job, right? So I have in my experience I have got team members in my marketing or sales team where one of the members or two of the members daily job is to continuously nurture the leads, work with the leads, right? They don't work on anything else, whether it's an SQL sales qualified leads or an MQL market qualified leads. You need to work on that. So your data should be ready, as per the AI definition, 80-20 definition, right? Otherwise AI will not work. Data is absolutely important for AI to work properly. B, you should have the, as I said, the mindset people to work on that, right? And three, of course, that has to be augmented by the right tool. And fourth is the right time, right? So this, if we combine these four, then lead prospecting or lead predicting becomes a very interesting and important aspect of your pipeline generation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You addressed that rightly. In fact, identifying leads is always a challenge. I was speaking to Dennis the other day, and we were having a conversation. And he mentioned, I can identify the lead, but I can't reach out to them. Outreach is a challenge.
Correct.
It has to be in sync. The various engines. One is, of course, the lead. How you identify that, what kind of data analysis, data capture, which you use to kind of qualify that lead, and then connecting that lead with your demand engine. So in fact, we did a session sometime back, a couple of months back. It was on qualifying leads. We actually ran a series on qualifying leads. We did talk about some of these aspects in terms of how to qualify a lead, and then how to add it to your sales engine or demand engine. But thank you so much, Sandeep. Charu, I hope you might have got the information that you're looking for. And we also have a friend joined, Atul Kulshesh. He has been a speaker in our session. There's another question from him. There's a question from him. Which CRM is better for B2B SME services company? HubSpot or Zoho? How are they using AI? Any insights or views? Any one of you would like to answer? I'm not sure if Dean and Dennis would be familiar with Zoho, but HubSpot certainly. Zoho is an Indian company,
right?
And I have used both the CRMs. Zoho has a lot of capabilities which you can customize, which you can tailor. Of course, there's a lot of effort that goes in terms of customizing Zoho. HubSpot, on the other hand, is more mature solution. But both these solutions, whether Zoho or HubSpot, they work. They work fantastic in terms of your lead management, your contact management, your contract project details. Zoho has some more capabilities in terms of algorithms, building algorithms, and now they're also trying with AI. But HubSpot has some of these capabilities which are at the mature stage, so you need not customize it a lot. You can easily kind of integrate it with your processes. But apart from HubSpot and Zoho, there are a couple of other tools which are coming up. There's Apollo, which is also being used a lot for CRM, and there's Instantly, which is also being used. So I would recommend, if you are an SME company and you do not have enough budget, you may probably begin with Zoho. Of course, there's going to be an initial effort that's going to go out. But then you'll have all the learnings that you require in terms of transitioning to a more mature CRM with the Salesforce in a later stage of your journey. So that is what I would recommend.
Hey, Vish, to add to it, because we use all of those. Pipe Drive is another good one for SMB. Yeah. But You also need to look closely at what you're doing with lead gen with the CRM, because a number of our integrator implementation partners tie in the CRM and their lead gen workflow together. So it can, that will add, potentially it'll add some good opportunities, but it's really important to look because they generally will focus on one of the CRMs with what they've built out to drive that lead gen.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So now we are, we have, it's almost 60 minutes, 1 hour. So we'll have to kind of wind up the session. But thank you so much, Sandeep, Dean, Dennis. You have shared wonderful insights. Of course, we have a couple of more slides which we could have taken up today, especially in terms of the sales tools, the tools, AI tools that are actually are in practice. We had actually worked out, but maybe in the next session we are going to have. Our next session is rev up your revenue engine to plug leaks and skyrocket sales. That's scheduled on 13th of June, Thursday at the same time. So do join us, do register for this session. The link is going to be shared here by Ritika. I'm sure you might have got a lot of interesting insights from our speakers today. I encourage you all to embrace these, these insights and tools that have been shared. Of course, Dennis, Dean, and Sandeep, they have spent a lot of umpteen years in the industry, and they know how the sales process works. And the tools that they have shared and the insights that they have shared are the real world insights, which are actionable. I see a lot of these insights already in action in a couple of areas, but of course, for people who have not started adopting AI, maybe you can look at these insights that has been shared by speakers and start adopting them. But thank you all for joining us today, and I look forward to you to meeting you on 13th of June. So thank you so much. Thank you, Sandeep, Dean, Dennis.
Thank you.
And thank you as well for managing the logistics. Thank you so much.